Let's get weird into it. Number 10. Drawn in the sand. The year is 1948. A guy named Norman Joseph Woodland is sitting on a Miami beach, fresh out of graduate school. Like any sane person on a beach, he's not thinking about relaxing or the existential dread of seagulls. No, he's thinking about how to make grocery store checkouts less miserable. He starts idly drawing in the sand, and his mind drifts to something he learned in the Boy Scouts. Morse code. You know, dots and dashes. He starts dragging his fingers, extending the dots and dashes downwards into lines. Suddenly, a light bulb goes off. He's just invented a visual Morse code. The idea was to combine the simple dot-dash system with the technology used for movie soundtracks, which printed sound information as optical lines on the film itself. He envisioned a scanner reading these thick and thin lines to identify a product. So, the next time you're at the beach, trying to escape the crushing weight of modern life, remember that the symbol of global commerce that haunts your every purchase was invented by a guy procrastinating in the sand. Your greatest idea might just be one doodle away, probably right next to a half-buried crab. Number 9. The Bullseye Failure. Before our beloved, sleek, and vaguely menacing linear barcode became the king of the checkout aisle, there was another contender. A challenger that was round, futuristic, and looked like it was designed for a 1960s sci-fi movie. It was the Bullseye Code. Created by RCA, this thing was a series of concentric circles, like a target you'd see at an archery range for clumsy robots. The logic was actually pretty solid. A circle can be scanned from any angle, so cashiers wouldn't have to perfectly align the product. It was omnidirectional, a huge advantage. So why are we living in a world of straight lines instead of cool retail crop circles? Well, the Bullseye was a diva. It was much harder to print without smudging, especially with the primitive printing tech of the day. A tiny ink bleed could turn can of soup into unidentified sphere of chaos. It also took up way more space on the packaging. So the Bullseye Code, despite being technically clever, was voted off the island in favor of the more practical, if less glamorous, series of straight lines. It's a classic story of brains versus brawn, where brawn is just being easier to print on a box of crackers. Number 8. A pack of gum. June 26, 1974. A supermarket in Troy, Ohio. The air is thick with the scent of linoleum and limitless American potential. A cashier named Sharon Buchanan braces herself. A shopper, Clyde Dawson, places a single item on the counter. It's not a declaration of independence or a newly discovered element. It's a 10-pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit chewing gum. Sharon slides it over a brand new laser scanner. And for the first time in human history, a soft, electronic beep echoes through the store. The price, 67 cents, pops up on the register. History was made. The first ever product to be commercially scanned with a UPC barcode wasn't life-saving medicine or a technological marvel. It was sugary, stick-based entertainment for your mouth. That very pack of gum is now sitting in the Smithsonian Institution, a silent, minty monument to the beginning of automated global capitalism. It's a humbling reminder that the most revolutionary moments in history often involve a transaction that's profoundly, beautifully boring. The first step toward a global supply chain network was paved with gum. Number 7. Your secret numbers. You probably think a barcode is just a random collection of lines, like a tiny abstract prison for a very, very small inmate. But it's not random at all. It's a secret code, and you can totally crack it. Look at any standard UPC barcode. Those 12 digits beneath it are telling a story. The very first number on the left tells you the product category. A 0, 1, 6, 7, or 8 means it's a standard product. A 2 means it's a variable weight item, like meat or vegetables priced by the pound. A 3 is for drugs and health items. A 4 is for in-store promotions. A 5 is for coupons. The next 5 digits are the manufacturer's unique ID. This is your brand's fingerprint. Kraft has one, Coca-Cola has another. The 5 digits after that are the specific product code. So Frosted Flakes has a different number than Frosted Flakes with 30% less soul. And that final lonely digit on the right? That's the check digit, and it's basically the barcode's hall monitor. It's calculated from all the other numbers using a special formula. If the scanner reads the numbers and its own calculation doesn't match that last digit, it calls shenanigans and gives you an error. So, yeah, that innocent-looking pattern on your yogurt cup is a highly organized dossier of information, complete with its own internal fact-checker. Number 6. The Devil's Checkout Lane. All right, put on your tinfoil hats, because we're diving into the weird part of the internet. For decades, a certain subset of the population has been convinced that every barcode contains the number of the beast. 666. Why? Look closely at any UPC code. You'll see 3 sets of slightly longer lines called guard bars. One at the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end. These bars tell the scanner where to start, stop, and switch reading patterns. Now, if you look at the number system for barcodes, the pattern for the number 6 is 2 thin bars. The guard bars are 2 thin bars. So, conspiratorially minded folks concluded that the 3 guard bars secretly represent 666, the mark of the beast, branding every single product on Earth in the name of the Dark Lord. The fact that the inventor, Joe Woodland, denied this, and that the number system doesn't actually code the guard bars as 6s, is irrelevant. The visual is all that matters. It's the perfect conspiracy. Mundane, ubiquitous, and just plausible enough if you squint and ignore all the facts. So apparently, Satan isn't busy tempting souls. He's meticulously organizing global inventory logistics. The devil works hard, but an efficient supply chain works harder. Number 5. Barcodes you can't see. You think you know your box of cereal. You see the cartoon mascot, the nutritional information, the barcode, but you're missing something. Your cereal box is haunted by a ghost barcode, and you can't even see it. It's called a digital watermark, or an invisible barcode, and the most common one is made by a company called Digimark. They figured out how to embed the same data from the UPC code directly into the packaging design itself, over and over again. It's done by subtly changing the color of individual pixels, in a pattern that's imperceptible to the human eye, but crystal clear to a special scanner. It looks like a faint, repeating pattern of yellow dots, almost like digital noise. This means the cashier doesn't have to hunt for that one little white box on the bottom of the package. They can just wave the item in the general direction of the scanner, and it'll pick up the code instantly. It's faster, more efficient, and a little bit creepy. Your potato chip bag has a secret identity hidden in plain sight, whispering its product number to any machine willing to listen. Your groceries are living a double life. Number 4. The sound of shopping. That iconic beep of the checkout scanner is one of the most satisfying sounds in modern life. It's the sound of progress, of acquisition, of your bank account gently weeping. But how does a beam of red light translate a bunch of lines into that glorious tone? First off, the laser isn't reading the black lines. That's the big twist. The laser is actually reading the white spaces in between. The scanner shines a laser, and a sensor called a photodiode measures how much light is reflected back. White spaces reflect a lot of light. Black lines absorb it. So the scanner gets a pattern of high and low reflections, which it translates into binary ones and zeros. This binary code then corresponds to the numbers we see at the bottom. The whole process is a lightning-fast conversation about light. And the beep? It's a complete fabrication. It's not an organic sound made by the machine doing its work. It's an artificial audio cue added specifically for the human cashier, a little dopamine hit that confirms, yes, the transaction is proceeding. The lines have been understood. It's the universal sound for permission to spend money granted. Number 3. Human barcodes. It was inevitable. As soon as a symbol of mass-produced identity became globally recognized, people started tattooing it on themselves. The barcode tattoo became a popular, if deeply ironic, statement. It's a bit cyberpunk, a bit anti-consumerist, and a bit, well, silly. People get them for all sorts of reasons. Some use their birth date as the scannable number. Others use a meaningful word or phrase converted into binary. And some just like the aesthetic of being a product waiting to be scanned. The ultimate irony, of course, is that most barcode tattoos don't actually scan. Skin stretches, ink fades, and the fine lines required for a scanner to work get distorted over time. So you end up with a permanent symbol of technological efficiency that is, itself, completely inefficient. It's the equivalent of getting a tattoo of a phone that can't make calls. But perhaps that's the point. It's a commentary on being a unique individual who is also just another number in the system, a walking, talking product with a permanently defective label. If you did scan, what would you ring up as? Slightly damaged goods, as is, no returns. Number 2. Art of the lines. For most of its life, the barcode has been the ugly but necessary rectangle shoved on the back of a product. It was pure function, zero form. But then designers in Japan looked at this boring block of lines and thought, we can do better. And they did. They started creating design barcodes, integrating beautiful, whimsical artwork directly into the lines without compromising their scannability. Suddenly, the barcode on a bottle of shampoo becomes a waterfall cascading down a cliff. The lines on a box of cookies become the strings of a violin. A book's barcode transforms into a bookshelf, and the bars on a box of tissues become blades of grass in a field. As long as the core mathematical relationship between the widths of the bars and spaces is maintained, you can get surprisingly creative. It turned a symbol of cold, hard data into a tiny piece of art. It's a beautiful reminder that even the most ruthlessly utilitarian parts of our world can have a splash of humanity and creativity injected into them. Your instant noodles now have more artistic integrity than a Hollywood blockbuster, and they still scan perfectly. Number 1. The code that ate the world. It started on a beach, was tested on a pack of gum, and now it runs the planet. That is not an exaggeration. The simple barcode is arguably one of the most important inventions of the 20th century. Over 10 billion barcodes are scanned every single day. They don't just track your groceries. They track shipping containers crossing the ocean, patient wristbands in hospitals, rental cars, library books, evidence in a police station, luggage at the airport, and even individual bees for scientific research. The barcode created a universal language for things, allowing for a level of global inventory management and logistical efficiency that was previously unimaginable. Without it, there's no Amazon Prime, no global supply chain, no big box stores. The entire structure of modern commerce would collapse into a chaotic mess of people manually counting boxes. It is the invisible nervous system of our civilization, a silent, striped language that dictates the flow of almost every object around you. We live in a world built, managed, and organized by a bunch of black and white lines, thought up by a guy who was just trying to get out of doing some real work. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.